In 1984, when CompUSA opened its first superstore in Dallas, Texas, personal computers were mysterious black boxes that required a computer science degree to understand. The average consumer walked into these cavernous retail spaces completely dependent on salespeople to explain the difference between RAM and ROM, to decode technical specifications, and to guide them through purchases that could cost thousands of dollars. CompUSA became the undisputed king of computer retail by capitalizing on this knowledge gap, growing from a single store to over 220 locations across America by 1998. At its peak, CompUSA generated nearly $3 billion in annual revenue and employed over 15,000 people. The company's business model was brilliantly simple: serve as the essential intermediary between complex technology and confused consumers. But CompUSA's executives never imagined that their customers would eventually become more knowledgeable than their own sales staff, or that an army of passionate enthusiasts sharing information online would render their entire industry model obsolete. The transformation began quietly in 1995, when a small community of computer enthusiasts started gathering on Usenet newsgroups like alt.comp.hardware and comp.sys.ibm.pc.hardware. These weren't casual users asking basic questions about Microsoft Word. These were hardcore enthusiasts who lived and breathed computer technology, people who understood the intricate differences between Intel's Pentium processors and AMD's K5 chips, who could explain why certain motherboard chipsets performed better with specific memory configurations. Tom's Hardware Guide launched in 1996, followed by AnandTech in 1997, creating centralized hubs where technical knowledge was freely shared and rigorously tested. By 1998, Overclockers.com had established itself as the definitive resource for pushing computer components beyond their factory specifications. These early communities created something unprecedented in retail history: customers who possessed deeper technical knowledge than the people trying to sell to them. While CompUSA sales associates were trained to recite basic specifications from product brochures, online forum members were conducting detailed thermal testing, analyzing benchmark results, and sharing real-world performance data across thousands of different hardware combinations. The dot-com boom of the late 1990s accelerated this knowledge transfer exponentially. Suddenly, millions of people needed computers for internet access, and many discovered that building their own systems was both cheaper and more rewarding than buying pre-built machines from companies like Gateway or Dell. Online communities exploded in size and sophistication. HardOCP launched in 1997, focusing specifically on hardcore enthusiasts and gamers who demanded maximum performance from their systems. The community-driven review site became so influential that hardware manufacturers began sending pre-release products directly to forum moderators and trusted community members rather than traditional media outlets. Message board cultures developed their own economies of reputation, where users gained status by sharing successful build configurations, troubleshooting complex problems, and helping newcomers navigate the increasingly complex landscape of computer components. By 2000, a dedicated enthusiast could access more detailed technical information in a single evening of forum browsing than CompUSA's entire training program provided to its sales staff. The rise of Google in the early 2000s transformed these scattered communities into an interconnected web of expertise that was instantly accessible to anyone with an internet connection. A customer could walk into CompUSA, use their smartphone to fact-check everything the salesperson told them, compare prices across dozens of online retailers, and read detailed reviews from users who had actually purchased and tested the exact same components. The information asymmetry that had sustained computer retail for 2 decades vanished almost overnight. Forum communities like those found on Tom's Hardware had grown to hundreds of thousands of active members, creating a collective intelligence that no individual retailer could match. These communities didn't just share product information, they created comprehensive buying guides, maintained compatibility databases, and developed troubleshooting resources that were more accurate and up-to-date than any manufacturer's documentation. The most respected community members, known as hardware gurus or system builders, commanded audiences larger than many technology magazines, and their recommendations could make or break product launches. As online communities matured, they began solving the last major barrier that kept casual users dependent on retail stores: technical support and troubleshooting. CompUSA had built much of their service revenue around solving hardware conflicts, installing components, and diagnosing system problems. But forum communities developed sophisticated support ecosystems that were available 24 hours a day, staffed by volunteers who often possessed decades of experience across every conceivable hardware combination. A user experiencing a boot failure could post their system specifications on a forum and receive multiple detailed responses within hours, often including step-by-step diagnostic procedures and links to driver downloads. Community wikis emerged, documenting solutions to thousands of common problems and maintaining vast databases of component compatibility information. The social dynamics of these communities created powerful incentives for knowledge sharing. Respected members gained status by solving difficult problems and helping newcomers, while manufacturers monitored forums closely to identify and address product issues. By 2005, the collective technical support capacity of online communities far exceeded what any traditional retailer could provide. The emergence of specialized online retailers like Newegg in 2001 delivered the killing blow to computer superstores by combining the knowledge advantage of online communities with superior pricing and selection. Newegg understood that their customers were already educated by forum communities, so they focused on providing detailed technical specifications, user reviews, and competitive pricing rather than hand-holding sales experiences. The company's user review system allowed customers to share real-world experiences with products, creating a feedback loop that continuously improved the collective knowledge base. Online retailers could maintain vast inventories without the overhead costs of physical stores, allowing them to offer both mainstream and highly specialized components that superstores like CompUSA couldn't economically stock. The long-tail economics of online retail meant that enthusiast communities could finally access exotic components like specialized cooling solutions, overclocking-friendly motherboards, and high-end graphics cards that had previously been difficult to obtain. By 2006, serious system builders were doing their research in online communities and making their purchases from specialized online retailers, bypassing traditional computer stores entirely. The final nail in CompUSA's coffin came from the explosive growth of YouTube and video-based learning communities starting in 2005. Building computers transformed from an arcane technical skill into something that could be learned by watching a few tutorial videos. Channels like Linus Tech Tips, which launched in 2008, made computer building accessible to mainstream audiences by combining entertainment value with detailed technical instruction. These video communities showed viewers exactly how to install components, manage cables, and troubleshoot problems, eliminating the last vestiges of mystique surrounding computer assembly. The combination of online forums providing component selection guidance and YouTube channels demonstrating assembly techniques meant that anyone with basic mechanical skills could build a custom system. Community-driven benchmarking databases allowed users to predict exactly how their chosen components would perform in specific games or applications, removing the guesswork that had previously driven customers to seek advice from retail sales staff. The speed of information flow in these communities far exceeded traditional retail channels. New product launches were analyzed, benchmarked, and reviewed by community members within days, while CompUSA's buyers were still waiting for manufacturer briefings. CompUSA management recognized the threat from online communities but consistently underestimated both the speed of change and the depth of knowledge transfer occurring in digital spaces. The company attempted various strategies to remain relevant, including price-matching policies, expanded service offerings, and partnerships with manufacturers for exclusive product launches. They invested in employee training programs and tried to position their stores as destinations for hands-on product evaluation, but these efforts failed to address the fundamental shift in customer behavior. By 2007, CompUSA's customer base had been hollowed out from both ends. casual users were buying simplified systems from big-box retailers like Best Buy, while enthusiasts were building custom systems using knowledge gained from online communities and components purchased from specialized online retailers. The company's attempts to compete on price were futile because online retailers had structural cost advantages, while their efforts to compete on expertise were doomed because no individual store could match the collective knowledge of engaged online communities. CompUSA filed for bankruptcy in 2007 and closed all remaining stores by 2008, ending nearly a quarter-century of computer retail dominance. The death of CompUSA represented more than just the failure of a single company. It demonstrated how digital communities could completely restructure traditional retail markets by democratizing specialized knowledge. The computer enthusiast communities that emerged in the late 1990s created a new model of consumer education based on peer-to-peer knowledge sharing, real-world testing, and collective problem-solving. This model proved superior to traditional retail approaches in almost every measurable way. It was more accurate because it was based on actual user experiences rather than manufacturer marketing materials. More comprehensive because it drew on the expertise of thousands of contributors. More current because it operated at the speed of internet communication, and more trustworthy because it was driven by passion rather than sales commissions. The retail apocalypse that would later claim victims across multiple industries began in the computer sector, where technical complexity and rapid product evolution created ideal conditions for community-driven knowledge sharing to flourish. The legacy of CompUSA's collapse extends far beyond the computer industry, foreshadowing similar disruptions in automotive retail, home improvement, photography, and countless other sectors where specialized knowledge once created sustainable retail advantages. The pattern established by computer building communities, passionate enthusiasts sharing detailed technical knowledge, collaborative problem-solving, community-driven reviews and recommendations, and the gradual transfer of expertise from sellers to buyers, would repeat across industry after industry as internet penetration expanded and social platforms matured. CompUSA's story serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of business models built on information asymmetries in an age of networked intelligence. When customers become experts through online communities, traditional retail relationships invert. Instead of sellers educating buyers, informed buyers educate sellers, and in many cases, they eliminate the need for sellers entirely. The computer superstores that once seemed invincible, with their massive inventories and armies of sales staff, proved no match for the collective wisdom of engaged communities sharing knowledge freely in digital spaces. CompUSA didn't just lose to online retailers. It lost to a fundamental transformation in how technical knowledge is created, shared, and applied by communities of practice that operate outside traditional commercial structures.